Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Jen. I moved to New Zealand almost 8 years ago with my husband and my 2 sons. Prior to that I lived in England for 11 years, but originally I'm from South Africa. So that is my background if you are just finding this video randomly. I have a number of these videos answering questions about moving to New Zealand, and I will link the playlist over here. I do want to insert my usual disclaimer though. I can only speak from my own experience. I don't know everything. I try and answer as many questions as I can, but I'm certainly not an expert on the process. We only made the move once ourselves, and I'm not either qualified to or legally allowed to give actual immigration advice. You'll need to contact a professional if you need immigration advice or advice on visas, and the agency I can recommend is New Zealand Shores. It is a legitimate agency with qualified, licensed immigration advisors, and I will link them down below. So I'm just going to jump into my next batch of questions, and the first one is, how much all in did it cost you to immigrate? We are similar to you, 2 adults and 2 kids, so it would be great to know. As I mentioned, we made our move about 8 years ago. In June it will be 8 years ago, so things have probably changed since then. Shipping costs may have gone up, whatever, but all in I believe it cost us around about £20,000 to make the move. It is not cheap to immigrate, and it will also set you back financially for a while once you've made the move. Things to factor in are cost of medicals, cost of your visas, the immigration advisor if you choose to use one. We just did our own application for residency. My husband had to fly out here for testing and interviews as part of his job application process with the police at the time. You need to factor in your flights, obviously, temporary accommodation once you get to New Zealand, deposit for whatever place you're going to be renting. You need to factor in your first couple of grocery shops, which are going to be big ones. You're going to need to get everything from scratch. All of your staples, all of your pantry items that you usually have in hand are going to have to be bought from scratch. School uniforms, buying a car, all of these things. It is not cheap to immigrate, and you definitely want to factor in as many things as you can and budget for them so that you don't hit any nasty surprises along the way. But I believe it cost us around about £20,000 to £30,000 all in to make the move. I can't remember the exact amount, I'm sorry. I was asked, how does internet banking work with New Zealand banks? Internet banking is quite big over here. We opened our account with ANZ before we even moved to New Zealand, and we did it all online. And then once we moved here, we just went into a local branch and did our signatures and showed our passports and all of that jazz to actually activate the accounts. Once you have an account, you can have access on the internet to your account, and you can create other online accounts. So we have so many online accounts that when we actually went and spoke to there's a lady at the bank who handles like business things, and we have a business, and we went to see her, and she said, looking at your accounts online, you guys have the most online accounts of anyone I've ever seen. So we use it almost like an envelope system. So we have our main checking account, and we have a credit card account which we only got for the air points, so we keep that paid off all of the time. And then we have all these online accounts. We have one for groceries, we have one for petrol, medical, Grant's Mad Money, my Mad Money, the kids' pocket money, the kids' savings. We have our long-term savings. We have one to put our tax money aside. We have so many online accounts. So when my husband gets his paycheck, we have like an automatic transfer that happens into all of these accounts because he gets paid every 2 weeks. So like $650 goes into our groceries account, and I can shop weekly, and when I do my weekly shop, I will transfer out however much I spent that week into the Visa account, which is what I pay for my groceries with. And the same thing happens if we have medical expense, or if we go and fill up the car with petrol, we'll take the amount out of the petrol account. So that's how we handle our budget with all of these online accounts. You can also access all of your accounts with an app on your phone, and it is secure. Most people here don't carry cash. If you buy something, or if you go out to dinner with a friend and they pay for dinner and you want to give them your share or whatever, if you want to give somebody money, it's very often done with a bank transfer, and they'll just give you their bank account and their like the name that the account's under, and you can just send them money online and it will go straight into their bank account from your bank account. If you buy something online, TradeMe is the site that is similar to eBay, then you will likely pay for it online through a bank transfer. So online banking is definitely huge here. It is secure, it's safe, and available through, I guess, every single bank, although obviously we haven't used every single bank. The next question, I've actually put it on my list. It's cost of living per month, and I've put it on there not because I haven't answered it before, because I've answered it multiple times, but because I get this question all the time. All the time, people asking me, what is the cost of living? Will X amount of salary be enough to live on, or whatever? There is no one answer. Even if your family looks exactly like my family and you're living in the same area, and even if you have exactly the same income as us, your expenditures are going to look different to mine. There's no way to answer this. Only you can answer this using the links down below, and I'll get to that in a minute. There are so many factors that go into cost of living. What hobbies do you have? What activities are your kids in? Do you smoke? Do you drink? How often do you eat out? Do you have pets? How many cars do you have in your household? How far do you commute to work? How much do you spend on petrol? What are your dietary requirements? Do you cook from scratch, or do you buy a lot of convenience foods? It goes on and on and on. There are so many things that influence what your cost of living is going to be that I just can't answer this question. But like I said, there are some helpful links that may help you to work out what your cost of living is going to be. I will link a couple of cost of living calculators down below. There's one specifically for Auckland. And you can also go onto Pack and Save online. You can go onto Countdown online and do yourself like a fake grocery shop of the things that you would normally buy and see how much that's going to cost you. And then hopefully you can work out your cost of living from there. I hope that's helpful. Like I said, I get this question all the time. I'm probably not going to answer it again, but I hope that those links are helpful to you. I was asked about Wi-Fi options, uncapped, and data speeds, and if there's buffering or for YouTube uploads, that sort of thing. Okay, so in our area, fiber is about to become available, but it's not currently available. So there's ADSL, and then we have something that's faster than ADSL, but it's slower than fiber. But we will be going onto fiber as soon as that's available. Our current internet, like I said, it's between fiber and ADSL. We have uncapped. I can't remember how much it costs us per month. I will put the information on the screen, or there, wherever. I'll put the information on the screen for you. But we have no internet problems generally. It's super fast. I upload videos and they don't take long at all. Depending on the length of the video, I couldn't give you just an average amount, but it takes, you know, less than half an hour to upload a video, even if it's a pretty big one. And we watch Netflix, we don't have any problems. We watch YouTube videos, we don't have any buffering problems. So I would say the internet is good, and I live in a low population area. Obviously, if you're in a higher population area, you're going to have more providers and you're going to have faster speeds. But from my experience, the internet is just fine here. I was asked if the bed sizes are the same as the UK. So in the UK, the bed I'm sitting on would be called a king. Over here it's called a queen. And what's called a super king in England is called a king here. Single beds are the same, double beds are the same, and then they do one called a king single here. So a single bed is about 91 centimeters wide and about 190 centimeters long, which is the same as the UK. But then a king single is 2 meters long and it's just over 1 meter wide. So it's just slightly bigger. So if you're bringing single, double, or king bedding from the UK, you would be able to put it onto a single, double, or queen bed in New Zealand, no problem. It will fit fine. If you buy a king single bed in New Zealand, then your single bed fitted sheets won't fit it. It'll be slightly bigger. Next question is, I'm planning on visiting New Zealand in November, December, mainly to check out the place and perhaps move permanently. Is there any advice you can give me? First of all, I'm so sorry it took me so long to answer this question because it was asked before last November, December. So the person asking has probably already had their trip. But the things I do want to mention is November, the weather is not quite hot yet. We're going to have lovely warm weather and things are usually ticking along, although people start going into like a go slow in anticipation of Christmas. If you come in December, expect places to be closed, people to be on holiday, and for things to just be going slow. If you come over in December, January, February, and you want things to happen and, you know, things to move quickly, it's not going to happen. If you're just here on holiday, you're probably going to have less of that. But if you're actually immigrating during that time, schools are going to be closed, people are going to be on leave, they're going to be taking their holidays, and not much is going to be happening during that time. One thing I would recommend is book your accommodation quite far in advance, because that is busy season, particularly December, maybe not so much November, and you don't want to miss out and move over here and start traveling and try and book things last minute and not have a place to stay or not have the choices available to you that you would prefer, because it's all booked up, because that is busy time. December is summer holidays, the kids go off school kind of middle of December, sometimes a week before Christmas maybe, and everyone just goes into holiday mode. Next question is, I'm a 17-year-old American. Do you think it would be easier to immigrate at say 21 when I'm just out of uni and job hunting with not much money in my pocket, or when I'm a bit older and more established but also have more responsibility? This is completely up to you to decide, but my personal opinion would be get some work experience under your belt and get some money saved in your bank account, because it is expensive to make the move and it's a lot easier to get a job if you actually have relevant experience rather than as a newly graduated student. Yes, you may have more responsibility, but that's also up to you. You know, if you leave uni and get a job and decide in 5 years time I'm moving to New Zealand, then during that time you can be saving money. You're not going to be getting a dog, you're not going to be buying a house, you're not going to be doing things to put that responsibility into your life if you keep your eyes on your goal. Of course, there's always a risk in waiting. They are changing New Zealand immigration laws all of the time, and it's getting more and more strict and harder to come in. So there is a possibility you could miss an opportunity. Like I said, the decision is totally up to you, but that's my opinion. Next question. We have 2 small rabbits and 1 sweet 16-year-old cat. All 3 of them are living inside and never go out. This will be a little bit tricky to bring them with us to New Zealand, but I am confident that there is a way to make it as comfortable as possible for them. But are there any special restrictions in New Zealand about pets? Okay, so there are a few restrictions. They are ferrets, guinea pigs, mice and rats, and snakes and other reptiles. So rabbits and cats you'll be fine with. It is super expensive to bring pets over, do be aware of that, and they will likely need to go into quarantine. I know that's the case for dogs. Not sure about cats or rabbits because we didn't bring any pets, but it's also going to make it harder to get a rental, so be aware of that too. If you have pets, and the more pets you have, the harder it is to find a landlord who's willing to take that on. It's not impossible, but just be aware that it could affect how many rentals are available to you. The next person asked, are there Christian schools in New Zealand? Yes, there are Christian schools in New Zealand. I'm not sure how many will be available to you depending on the area you're in, or like how widely available they are, but in the 2 areas that we have lived, which was South Auckland and South Taranaki, there are Christian schools in the area. The next question is, we currently have a local farmer we go to buy raw milk, free-range eggs and poultry, and grass-fed beef, organic fruit and veg. Is it the norm to be able to find healthy food, or is it as scarce as in Cape Town? You can find it, but it's not widely available, as in you can't just get anything you want organic. For example, if I go to my local supermarkets, there's a small range of organic vegetables, but I can't get celery that's organic, for example. Most beef is grass-fed, but they do supplement with maize in the winter, so it's not specifically labeled as grass-fed. I live in a dairy farming area and it's fairly easy to get raw milk, but you would need to go to the farmer. You can't just buy that like at the supermarket, obviously. I don't know how scarce or easy it is to get hold of these things in Cape Town because I haven't lived there in 19 years, but like I said, they are available here, but you have to go looking for them, and they're not the norm. Free-range eggs are easy to get hold of. I get free-range eggs from the supermarket. There are multiple different brands, and I also have a friend who has chickens. I have actually a few different sources where I could just buy eggs direct from the person who has chickens, but I live in a country area. There are also subscription boxes for vegetables or avocados or anything like that. I don't know if they're all organic, but there definitely are options out there. Those are all the questions I'm going to cover in this video. If you want to check out the rest of the videos like this, I will link the playlist over here. Do be sure to check the description box for relevant links. I do have a Facebook group in which there are, I think, almost 6,000 members, and they are all people moving to New Zealand or people who have made the move to New Zealand, and everybody's supporting each other and sharing their experiences and advice. So that's a super helpful place to be if you want to check that out. If you need professional advice for immigration or for visas or anything like that, do check out New Zealand Shores, linked down below. They are super helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I upload a range of lifestyle topic videos, including vlogs of our life here in New Zealand, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.